As I came here and sat in this hall, I started recalling reminiscences of how I sat here in this hall as a law student. And this hall was not air conditioned, so the doors and windows were wide open. There was no red carpet. There was no lectern, nice lectern like this. Yet we participated in almost all events held in this hall. In the context of today's event, there is one remarkable observation that I make. At that time, none of us had mobile phone. As a result, nobody had any kind of tabs. There were no computers, there were no laptops, and even the office upstairs didn't have computers. Some old typewriters were there with which the office clerks and the other officials were seen typing documents. Of course, in my case, I came here from the University of Colombo after my graduation. And by that time, University of Colombo had already started teaching its students computer programming. So there were some computers in the university, in their small computer lab at that time. The computer department was not there, it came much later, and that time few computers were there. So I was one of the students who studied computer programming as an undergraduate. And it was after that I came here. And then I saw the difference, having come from a place where there were some computers around, and I found no computers and nobody even talked about digitalization or computers even. So that was the difference. Obviously, the University of Colombo taught its students computing with the hope that they would go out and help other institutions to digitalize. However, it is today that I come here to launch the digitalization. Wait is too long, isn't it? And for some reason, that is how certain things are happening in this country. And also in other parts of the world, Mr. Urshid, in Pakistan also there is no much difference. The same. That also happened due to the kindness of the UNDP, the European Union, and the UNICEF, and this was made possible. Let me go back to how we started this digitalization program about the courts rather than the digitalization of the law college. As principal said, I said in my ceremonial sittings that I would expedite digitalizing the court system of the country. And before that, once I was the president of the Court of Appeal, and during that time also I started doing this for the Court of Appeal, of course. That was my authority at that time. And I, in fact, developed a program. And of course, we didn't have money allocated. And we sent it to the ministry. Ms. Jinasena, you were not the secretary at that time. So we sent it to the ministry asking for funds. Then ministry sent it to ICTA, I think, for some opinion. They shot it down, saying that it was an unsolicited project or something. And that was the end of it. So soon thereafter, I had to leave the Court of Appeal to come to the Supreme Court and stayed there until I became Chief Justice last year. Then came my authority to digitalize the court system. By that time, I have had bitter experiences of trying to digitalize and not being helped by anybody. So this time, I straight away decided to abandon everybody, including the ministry. And I went on my own. And we started in August last year, and we opened e-filing module in February. Two registrars are here. Anand is also here. They would testify to the fact as to how many hours until what time we spent in the night on daily basis to achieve that. Just about 9 months. We didn't ask for funds from anybody. We didn't even seek anybody's guidance as a consultant. We didn't want anybody actually. No consultants, no helpers, no tuition. We just did it. Of course, with the SLT, Sri Lanka Telecom. It is not because we were experts, but we were dedicated. And as principal said that I threw you at sea so that you could somehow come out. So here I put myself at sea and I swam along with the others. And in February we opened. And even today, out of about 8 cases, 2 cases were e-filed, electronically filed. That means we have up to now registered about 40 to 50 cases electronically filed. That means those 50 cases, 40 or 50 cases, we don't have physical files. We don't have physical files. The case record is in the computer. And we are hearing, even today we had 2 cases, and it is on the increase, which means the lawyers can file cases electronically from home at 12 midnight or 2 a.m. in the morning, at any time. You would see if your last day for filing of an appeal is on Friday, if you don't come to the registry before 3 o'clock, you miss the bus. But now, if you can file that appeal before 12 o'clock from your chambers, maybe wearing a sarong, and save the day. And you don't have to carry big volumes and bundles of files. And there are many advantages. I need not tell you all the advantages. About the students' management system, I must say something. There is this adjoining building. And in the council, it was reported that there is a crack in the building. And then council told the president to get a report from the National Building NBRO. So they came and inspected and they made a report. What is the cause? Now, principal said all this time 48,000 lawyers have passed out from the portals of this hallowed institution. Everyone, all those 48,000 people left a file here. Where are the files? Those are dumped in a room in the building. And this building, the structure of this building is not designed to hold that weight, and it started cracking. Now the students' management system, will be paperless from day one. All of us have files here. Now, those files, again, with the help, maybe principal will look forward for the funding from the UNDP in paces. They will be scanned and brought to the computer, the system. And that is the only way to save that building. And I told the principal to give priority to that and do that and save the building somehow. Now, we in the Supreme Court also have the problem in the registry, the record rooms. Actually, all courts have that problem. Now, as in the Supreme Court, there are many Supreme Court practitioners here. We know you need at least 4 copies of the brief. However much it is large, you need to multiply it by 4. 3 for judges, 1 for the docket. So after the case is over, also you have to keep it. Then maybe once in each, maybe 2 years, you have to make some space, racks and racks to keep those things. Now, this is the solution. E-filing is the solution so that you don't consume space. However much large the space is, then the solution is the cloud. The cloud you store as much as you can, and you won't face situations like this and find cracks in the building. Now, having digitalized the Supreme Court, now the Supreme Court digitalization is over, completely over. It is for the lawyers to file. The filing is on the increase. And about 3 weeks or 1 month ago, we launched the digitalization of the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal is also, now it has started getting electronically filed documents. Particularly writ applications are coming through the electronic system. And it will increase soon. And on all the other courts, we are going to launch on 31st this month, 31st July, in the afternoon. We are going to launch the digitalized systems of the Commercial High Court, the Civil Appeal High Court, High Court, District Court, and the Magistrates Court. Now this system, LMS and SMS, these systems do not stand alone. Those of you who had the opportunity of witnessing the oath ceremony, which took place recently in June. Now, for a person to take oaths after apprenticeship and everything, you have to go to the Supreme Court. That's my recollection, and that's what I have seen. You have to go to the Supreme Court. Then you have to meet the registrar and obtain an appointment. And on the date of the appointment, you have to go and stand in a queue. That is to hand over the file. So you hand over the file, and if the registrar is not happy, then you will be asked to come again. And then only you will be asked to come and take oaths before the judges. So there also you have to sign many papers. Now this time students never came. Am I right? Yeah. Students never left the gate of the law college. They transmitted the documents to the Supreme Court online through the system. The Supreme Court dealt with it and made whatever the queries they wanted to. And straight away they came to court. And on a lectern like that, there were no papers. They read the oath on the screen. and digitally signed that paper. And that was, the judges were sitting on the bench. The person taking notes is there. The moment he or she reads out the author, the judges see it on the computer, and then the judges digitally sign the same paper and transmit it to there's an office staff seated on the side, and that's it. There are no papers. Not even a single printing sheet was spent. There is not a single file cover opened, no burden for the record room. Everything is in the system. Now, with that system, the law college, that would be the future for the lawyers. In time to come, when I say in time to come, it won't take a long time. This 31st, we are going to launch the system, digitalized system for all the other courts. And in time to come, we are considering to make it mandatory to file electronically file cases at least in certain categories. Because we simply can't afford to have record rooms. I think Secretary Justice knows how difficult it is for the government to provide spaces for the registry. Law college is 152 years old. It is the same building as shown on the screen. It was the same building in which our forefathers learned. Mr. Arul Pragasam learned, Mr. Swaminathan learned, Mr. Chandra Sundar, of course, we were contemporaries here, Mr. Kuveredi Soisa. Then we studied here. Then the others followed, Ms. Jina Sen. Then the others followed. Same building. So legacy continues. When it was established, nobody would have ever thought that there would one day be a digitalized law college, simply because that time this technology was not there. Supreme Court is 225 years old, and 225th anniversary of the Supreme Court is around the corner. And it is at a time like that the law college, without lagging behind, or to escape from lagging behind, took to this project and completed it. Many more to be done and many miles to go. The compere here said 1,000 miles begin with one step. So one step is over, many steps are over, but the 1,000-mile is yet to be achieved. So there is a long way to go, but it won't take time. Now the principle in the process, however primitive he claimed to be, has also been digitalized. That's the greatest success and achievement. I must say this also. When I speak about digitalization, the principal showed us the smart classrooms that again the UNDP had provided. All the students who are studying in those smart classrooms, I'm sure, must be having smartphones also. So the student having a smartphone, studying in a smart classroom, do they become smart by that alone? Now, this is what I want to remind. Of course, the computer is smart, the phone is smart. What phone does will be smart, what computer does also will be smart. That, however, does not mean that the student or the person who is using the computer by itself would be smart. That is a different scenario altogether. We must not forget the fact that we are much used to write with the pen. It is our brain which gives the signal, okay, now you write something. So the signal comes to the hand picks up the pen. It is not the pen which is writing, it is your mind which is writing. If pen and hand are writing, nobody will understand what is written. So it is your mind that is writing. When you don't have the mind, or if your mind is not working, well, you can't write. Now, if you calculate a simple thing, let's say 125 plus 100, 125 plus 125, or 100, we'll say 125 plus 100. I just gave a easy figure, but when it is not a round figure, it is difficult. You put it in the computer, in the calculator in your phone or your laptop, and put plus mark, add, equals, it will give. Now, if you are to calculate that from your mind, you will make mistakes, you will not be sure, it will take time, but still your mind works. Now, in that, when you assign that task to the computer does it. As a result, your mind does not work. What happens if you have a car or a vehicle? If it does not run, what happens? You will not be able to move it. In this scenario, the same thing. That is, some people call it Alzheimer. Those of us who have studied in masters in other countries, they are so used and dependent on the computers. And all databases, the material like your LMS, so all on the system. And you copy, paste and write on the laptop, and type reports are submitted, and so on and so forth. So as a result, you don't use a pen, you don't use a paper. One advice that was given to us about 3 months before the exam was that now you start writing answers with the pen. Otherwise, you will get stuck at the examination, which is true. By that time, actually, we had forgotten writing, and the hand is trained. So with that note, by no means I'm trying to scare you. I'm not trying to frighten you. Whenever you talk about digitalization, electronic items, AI is altogether a different scenario. We should not forget the past and our practices also. This is a nice program. We saw that, and many things to happen. We also, Mr. Rashid, we also have asked for some computers from you. Principal also wanted some more things, but don't give from our allocation, give it from outside. So having said that, let me appreciate the efforts of UNDP, the European Union, the UNICEF, the Ministry of Justice. Those are the organizations which got together and accomplished this task. And congratulations for all of you, and I wish you all the best. And as my friend said at the beginning, let the flames of the lamp that we lit dispel the darkness of this soul. Thank you very much.